Hello, Mech fans. This is Duncan Fisher. Hold on firmly to your mana potions, fireballs, and familiars, because you are tuning in to your regularly scheduled episode of the First Circuit Podcast.
And welcome to episode 138 of the First Circuit Podcast. Tonight's hosts are Ian. I almost said Bob.
Off to a great start.
And we got Biter.
Florg.
And myself, OLDBOB'S.
So for context to you guys listening to the podcast, I walked down, because Bob messes up the intro all the time, I just wrote down our hosts today include Bob, Ian, and Biter. That shit read it. Anyways, on.
Okay.
We've got a lot of topics. Bob, do you want to present us the topics?
Sure, I will do that. Events and sales, including a free mech, patch notes, new content, and mech variants. PGI wants more input on things, and is giving us info on other things. Also, community news. Next.
All right, let's get started with the Huntsman. So we had heard in the roadmap, of course, that they were planning like every month to do a new mech, and this February they actually got cracking very quickly with the Huntsman, which I think, at least the impression I got from watching the podcast that came out later, Matt said, just Razer, the guys who make like gaming hardware said, hey, we're coming out with a new Huntsman keyboard. We were wondering whether we could collab with you and stuff. And it's like,
Yeah.
Wait, we want to give free mechs. There's a mech called a Huntsman. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it now. And they just kicked it immediately into gear, which is pretty good.
Also, they did collab with Nutty Rat to go ahead and give away some free keyboards as well, too, which was kind of cool. Nice.
Yeah, I think Nutty lives very close to Daren up there, I think. So, a bunch of keyboards arrive at the offices and they can easily get it over to Nutty Rat and all that good jazz. So, yeah, they, in just like a day or something like that, probably just threw together both the event and collab with some streamers to put this all together. So, very, very on the ball for this thing.
Yeah, and very cool event, giving away hardware partnering with Razer. Obviously, I would have much preferred had they partnered with Razer to give us a certain joystick setup that they promised a couple of years ago, but I'll take a keyboard. And yeah, pretty cool first mech giveaway. I do kind of wonder if Razer has paid PGI beyond just putting their name on and giving away some keyboards. I do kind of wonder what the monetary background is, but yeah, anything that helps mech partner is good.
Yeah, like generally, like a lot of companies just give out keyboards and general product to go and give the streamers or to companies and say, give this out just for free, free advertising. And that's generally like what they do. And you can't pay for that. I mean, there's no price for that. You just got to say, cool, thank you so much for giving us some, it's going to cost them a couple keyboards.
I recall, what was it, Mechwarrior 5? They had that whole tie in with Matt sort of saying, hey everyone, I am getting all this cool Razer gear, let me unpack it and show you our new game. So yeah, I think they've have a good relationship with Razer, to say the least. And this is just another part on the journey.
Yeah. Interesting side fact. In the MacBook Online client, on the bottom, there's a small text scroll telling you about ongoing events and such. And that one is currently featuring an ad for the Razer Huntsman keyboard. So that's fun.
Okay.
We've got in-game ads now. Anyway, let's actually talk about the event.
Got to make the game more monetizable after all. But let's crack on.
All right, event's pretty good. You've had a whole month to complete it. At the time of the release of this podcast, you're still gonna have a few days left. So if you haven't done the event yet, it is totally doable in 2 to 3 days of semi-casual playtime. So absolutely feel free to complete it.
Yeah, 1 kill, 7 days premium time. I'm glad they actually changed that from what it was before, of the premium time being last. And we always kind of like went crazy. It's like, why don't you do it in the beginning? And I'm glad they changed that kind of stuff, because it makes much more sense.
It's
Yeah.
still not ideal. Bida talked to us about this earlier, and I agree. KMDDs aren't the easiest thing to get, especially if you're an inexperienced player.
Yeah.
Play one game would be the ideal condition
Mhm.
for the premium time, but still.
This, along with the mech itself, like the mech in particular, they mentioned it's a new player experience. The idea is, if you're picking up the game recently or whatever, it's just if you're a less experienced pilot, it gives you a reason to turn up to the game, and you get free mechs.
Yeah.
But this premium time is a little tricksy to unlock if you're just floundering at the game at lower tiers. And at the very bottom as well is quite a high order, like 50 kills or KMDDs, etc., etc. I think new pilots could very well get enough killing blows eventually, but it's at least for new player experience, you do want to set the bar pretty low.
So usually we just skip over events and are like, here's an event, check it out if you're interested. In this case, should we go over the conditions?
Sure.
At least real quick.
Sure.
So obviously 1 KMDD for the premium type, not ideal, but hey, it's a start. 15 scouting to get some Seabills and a Razor dice. Fun fact, there are already Razor cockpit items, so that's cool. Other potential partners would be NVIDIA. There are NVIDIA cockpit items.
Yeah.
And I know there are PC gamer things, the game
Really?
magazine, if that even exists.
There's a cockpit item for PC gamer?
At the very least, there's a special paint job.
What was the paint job?
Way back
Way
in
back?
time.
Okay.
And there's an NCIX special Centurion. Sadly, that
yeah.
company doesn't exist anymore to partner with, but hey, that would have been a choice.
Touching very briefly on the scouting rewards, the issue is sometimes just that some people will just take a light mech and kamikaze into the middle of the enemy team and pop a UAV, which ties into a later one as well. Well, the next one, in fact, 20 UAV detections.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you are a new player and you're having trouble with this, take a light mech. Don't kamikaze, just find the enemy, press R a bunch of times, and you're gonna get these rewards. And then launch a UAV.
Yeah.
Ideally, though, all of these are things that you shouldn't specifically have to try for, and just do them while you play. Like especially UAVs. Launching a UAV at the beginning of the game is not going to get you anything.
True.
Wait until the brawling has started and then launch UAVs. 50 kill assists.
Not too bad. That's
Yes,
pretty easy
just
to
play
do.
the game. Get it.
Yeah.
Damage with weapon types. I personally struggled a lot with this one, but yeah, it's
I
not
struggle with the
crazy
missiles.
difficult.
1,000 each isn't too bad.
Yeah.
It just meant some days, sometimes for some reason, everyone would just take like LRMs, and then another day I'd find everyone's just taking AC2s. I'm just like, what's going on? The meta is so weird.
Well, it's usually during events you have just people taking specific types of things, and so you find weird matches. Weird
Part of
matches.
the thing, by the way, is the missile damage, just because later on there's like shoot down 2,500 missiles. So on the missile day, easy peasy lemon squeezy. On the AC2 day, it's just there's so much AMS on the field, everyone's just taking AC2s and ERPPCs. There's not a lerm to be seen.
Well, that's why I was having problems, because I didn't do it the first day. I did it like a couple days afterwards, and I guess everyone got their stuff done. They just had like AMS, like, I can't get this done. I finally got it done.
It evens out after a week or two, which was the nice thing with this taking a while, being over the whole month.
Yeah.
Yep. And also just saying the damage type rather than specific weapons makes it so much more bearable and easy as a stretched out event.
True.
So yeah, all of the weapon types shouldn't be too difficult if you switch out your mech every now and then. 50 components, that is actually IMO fairly difficult, especially like either if you're a newish player and you're not in a position to do the killing shots on components, or you die early, you're never gonna get components destroyed, or if you just core the enemy out because your aim is too good.
Yeah, that can be
You're
like
never
50
gonna get
kills.
components. I'll leave it up to you to judge why I have completed this challenge.
What I do is I pop on my my Bushmaster with 3 rack 2s, or my other mechs that just have racks, and just unload like crazy. And it's usually that's when I get them.
Anything where you don't do concentrated damage, like LBs, LRMs, streaks, are gonna be fairly straightforward to do components.
Yeah.
25 kills or KMDDs. Again, you're just gonna get these as you play.
But you get the color though, which is really nice. The color is what
That's very
you
nice.
want.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
usually
the
don't give
rewards in
colors.
general are pretty good. 2,500 AMS missile destroyed. That one is big, and I kind of think it's too big.
Highest I ever got was 2,300, and the missile shot down.
We just
Yeah,
need to have
like
200.
there are those rare games when you're in a triple or quad AMS mech,
Mhm.
and the enemy is just purely there where you get your 2,000 missiles destroyed in a single match.
Yeah.
But on average, most mechs only have one AMS. There are obviously few that have 2 or 3 or 4, but most have only one. And just passively farming AMS is not really a thing, which is why you've been seeing a lot of straight up AMS boats lately.
Yeah. This is a gear check, unlike a lot of the others. If you, for the sake of argument, are a new pilot, most of the trial mechs have energy weapons somewhere, ballistic weapons somewhere, missile weapons somewhere. You can do all of these previous challenges, but not many of them, if at all any, really actually have AMS on their
You bring up
loadouts for trial mechs. You have to buy a mech, and then most are only going to have one AMS.
You bring up a good point though, because that's harder for new players to go ahead and do to get this one done. Because like you said, a lot of them don't have AMS, and so it'll be a lot harder for them to do this. And so like maybe they should not have it for new players, like under 25 games or something like that, because they can't actually get that type of system to go do that. So that's actually a really good point. That's a good point.
Granted, I like that these more difficulty ones are not tied to Huntsman, but they're just some extra on top things.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a crazy big deal that not everyone can get them. But the AMS, like this particular event, brings up something that Bob is always ranting about, competing for AMS kills, UAV kills, not AMS, because you're competing with your team to get those missiles. And then you have these really fun games where your team is featuring a lens of AMS Novas, and they're just trying to stay ahead of each other and shoot down the missiles before their teammate can shoot down the missiles so they can farm their AMS. And so we have these 3 AMS mechs just competing with each other in a really ridiculous way.
Yeah. Personally,
So,
I took it out during Lerm Day. I was playing with some other people, and we took like 2 or 3 AMS Corsairs, and I got it in 2 matches.
Yeah, I think mine was like 3 or 4.
Yeah, but that's because we, of course, have the AMS mechs, so we
Exactly.
have the gear. I think they want to put the restriction, like 2,500 is a lot, but it's because they are giving away a color. And black is sort of a nice color. I like putting on a lot of
and
mechs. People like black.
Obsidian Black in general is a really good color. It's a color I already have, that's why I didn't bother completing this part. But yeah, it's definitely a color you want. So if take the AMS Nova or the AMS Corsair, it's basically your only real option. The AMS Javelin is not going to do the trick here.
AMS Piranha.
Yeah, Piranha, not Javelin.
AMS Wolfhound.
Piranha.
Actually pretty good. I like that one.
Yeah, you can. It's just you just need to tally the total numbers up. You can get it done with 1 AMS if you play long enough.
Yeah.
It's just it's a lot. It's like 2 or 3 times the rate if you have 2 or 3 times the AMS.
Yeah, true.
So basically, I shot down 200 missiles. I played this event for 2 days in a row, on and off, and all of the mechs I used had 1 AMS. So just to give some perspective, with 1 AMS, it's gonna take a long while. Moving on, 2 things that are hard to understand in my opinion. Hit and run is fairly straightforward. You shoot the enemy, and then you stop shooting, and I believe you can't be shot in return.
Yeah.
That's the important part here. So for this one, PPC Shadowcat with ECM or anything that has long range, just pop around the corner, shoot, pop back the corner, wait until you get the pop-up, hit it 1 reward earned, and then repeat.
Yeah.
Saw a lot of PPC Shadowcats.
Yeah.
So annoying.
I mean, the hit and run is really easy to get though. If you just pay attention. Yeah, you just pay attention. The earn 10 UAV kills, that's another story. That's another story.
Yeah, that one actually, funny enough, took me. Was one of the longer ones to get.
So what is this even?
What's that?
So shoot down 10 UAVs.
Yeah, shoot down 10 like UAVs. So that's just, you have to have a person on the opposite team drop a UAV, then you have to compete against 11 other people shooting down that UAV. And so many times,
10 times.
Yeah, 10 times.
Like, one of these is usually hard. 10 of
Yeah.
them is probably impossible.
Maybe if they brought
Yeah,
it down
because
to
I was
5.
thinking UAV kills, it's probably gonna be something like a tech kill or narc kill, where
No.
the enemy has to die being spotted by UAV. That's my thought. So I just took a flanker, and once I realized enemies started to die, I just popped my UAV hoping to farm these, and I never got one.
Oh.
And
Am
that
I
explains it.
am I mistaken though? When you shoot down a UAV, it does say UAV kill, so they're keeping across the nomenclature from in-game.
Well, I apparently don't pay enough attention.
Mm.
But yeah, usually they call it shoot down UAVs, which is
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
more straightforward for the event page.
Yeah.
But hey, now I know. And hopefully so do you.
Just shoot them down, and hopefully you get them.
But yeah, this is a bit excessive. Like we had issues at least with one UAV. This is 10 times the
Yeah.
pain.
Plus, you get the Applejack
Granted,
Huntsman.
it's gatekeeping the pattern for the Huntsman. So I, again, don't mind having it be more difficult, but at least give us a good pattern.
Yeah. Give us a mountain lion. That's awesome. That's a good one.
I think part of the reasoning, I might be mistaken, the pre-order bonus back in the day was Applejack pattern for the Huntsman. So they aren't actually giving so many people new patterns.
They're old ones.
Yeah, it's an old pattern. Sadly, you can't see pre-orders from the store anymore.
There we go.
I did pre-order. I would have to launch the game and see what patterns I own.
Oh yeah, it no longer shows. That's
Yeah, that's interesting. Oh well.
All right, and then the main event, earning a Huntsman. It's not crazy difficult. I think the most difficult part's gonna be the 100 component destroyed. Beyond that, you can
the kill
that's
assist
grindy.
though.
The
Save
kill game DDs can be hard for
Most
lower
people.
level players, for very newbie players. Also, 250 or greater match score once is quite tricky for a lot of pilots. I think, isn't it?
If you use
it's not too bad.
AMS, it's not bad. It might be hard for newer players to get that though. But if you generally just play the match, you should actually get that normally.
250 isn't hard. 500 is
500 was hard.
It's the thing where we said this is hard and only top tier player are gonna reach it. 250 is fairly easy.
Yeah, I think I get 250 most matches. I just, yeah.
The 100 components is kind of hard to do. 50 killer KMDDs, that's a pain in the ass.
It's a bit grindy.
Yeah.
For the final thing. I mean, it is a mech after all,
Yeah.
and it is to try and keep you playing for the month. You have a whole month to earn it, to be fair.
So I think it's fine, given that it's a whole month. Like, most of these aren't crazy difficult. There's no insane skill involved. It's mostly down to just playing the game, and eventually you're gonna get this. Like a solo kill. I tried so hard to get a solo kill and completely failed it, and then I just gave up and took Lerms, and I got it on accident in the first game. That's just how it goes.
Oh,
so don't try too hard, just play and enjoy the game, and eventually you're gonna get it done.
Did I get that?
The
I got
less skilled pilots, usually learning is the way to go.
Yeah.
Because that gives you your KMDDs, it will give you your solo kills eventually. It will give you a 250 match
components, match score, the damage done especially.
Yeah, like so far I got 12 out of 50 for KMDDs, but I only played like one, I think like 2 hours or like 2-3 hours. Yeah.
I've talked with some other streamers about this, and from what I've gathered, it takes about 2 days for most people to play this, like experienced players.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not crazy difficult. If you're less experienced, it's probably gonna take you multiple weeks, but I mean that's how the event is designed after all.
Yeah, I definitely do like how it's 1 month though. That's so much easier than 1 week. Get that stuff done. So it's nice to do that.
Yeah, it's interesting in a way, because normally we would have several, weekly events. So we would have sort of 4 every month. But this is one big event throughout the whole month. So if you play a lot of hours just for 2 days, you can get it all done, and then there's more reason to come over the month. I'll be curious to see what their metrics say in regards to how much people are actively participating, possibly due to events, because yeah, this has some great rewards. I really like it, but it also means I don't have a reason to come back every week.
Yeah. Who
Yeah,
knows?
personally, I prefer the month-long events.
Yeah, I personally prefer that as well. It's a lot more flexible.
Yeah.
You're not always, you don't feel drawn back to the game. But from a player retention standpoint, sometimes it's better to keep drawing them in. Make sure they come back every other day.
Come back. It's like
True.
drugs. Come back and
So I guess
play.
final question regarding the event. What do you think about the Huntsman as the first mech, and which mech would you like to see for the second month?
Warhammer.
We had discussed, of course, what mech to give new players, and I had suggested at least mechs like the Huntsman, the Nova, and such, just very flexible, good amount of tonnage,
Yeah.
sort of middle of the
That
road.
was good.
So Huntsman, just by pure coinkydink, was a great mech to start with to appease me at least. Um, I'm really not sure. I think Warhammer is totally. I agree with Bob. That's a good choice for
Yeah.
next week. Maybe another medium, something that isn't so popular like the Huntsman, like a Wolverine or something, wouldn't go amiss.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, true.
I could see the Wolverine, the Griffin, these like middle tier inner sphere mediums.
Do people actually use a
I mean-
Griffin like they should? You know, basically like Lerm 10 and PPCs? Because I haven't seen many designs that have the ER PPC and like a Lerm 10 or something like that.
Not
No.
really. Like I use.
Well, sorry.
I personally I run close to stock for many builds, so I have laser LRM and PPC LRM Griffins.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But the one that I'm really running is the LRM machine gun jump jet. Griffin.
Okay, yeah.
The majority of Griffins, people play into the missile hard points and say, all right, this turns into an MRM boat or an SRM boat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's almost how all of them are built, other than like the hero.
Okay. I was just curious. I think I'm the only person that plays stock a lot, you know, just to see if I can do it or not. That's my problem, I guess.
Yeah, just LRM 10 gets shot down by all the AMS, and the
Yeah.
PPC isn't that great damage on its own. You know, everyone boats weapons, so instead of taking the LRM PPC, you just take like 2 PPCs, or instead of taking a mix, you just take all LRM, like
Yeah.
2 big LRM 15s or something, or 20s.
Yeah. Or a Merm 40 or something like that.
Yep, 2 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah, my guess for next month is definitely gonna be inner sphere medium.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's so
And-
many more Innisphere mechs. So yeah, we had 1 month of Clan, 1 month of Innisphere giveaway. It makes sense.
Make
to
it
me.
fair.
Yep. And I kind of want to. What do you guys think PGI should give away some of the more iconic mechs, or should they specifically keep those to buy only, like the Timberwolf, the Warhammer, the Marauder?
I think
the unseen mechs. Yeah.
people will grind to get those mechs is a thing in the back of my head. So you want to encourage people to take the less commonly seen mechs to try and broaden the pool of mechs you see on the field, and it gives people extra incentives. Like, oh, I've tried all these different mechs and they're kind of mediocre. People keep saying, the Marauder is really good, so I'm going to save up and get the Marauder. But if you just give them a Marauder, there's nothing for them to work for. It's like, well, I'm not saving up for, a random dragon or anything like that.
I mean, for me though,
I
I
could-
want to get them just because I'm just a lore freakazoid, so I want to get those mechs.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, especially like the Timber, the Marauder, those really iconic BattleTech mechs.
Mhm.
I do think they would be a good candidate as long as they don't give away the really powerful variants.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
there's a whole
true.
there's a Marauder with 2 missiles in the side torso. That you hardly ever see that one because there's one with the ECM and missile on both side torsos. So why take the Marauder 5D now? So yeah, you could totally get people that one mech away, and I think a lot of people would like that.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah.
All right, we have plenty more topics to crack on with. So
Yeah, let's keep going.
Love bundles.
Next up, love bundles.
Done during Valentine's Day, obviously.
Mhm.
Let's see here. Bundles of love are here. Yay. Actually, it's double the amount of mechs you get, and then GSP and cockpit items, basically. So, like, let's say the Shadowhawk and Locust, it's kind of like a bundle that, they love each other. And then Timberwolf and Mad Dog, that kind of thing. So, you do get 3 days premium time for $33. But basically, love bundles are 2 mechs put together that they think would work together very well. Love is on the battlefield, and then you get extra items with that. Either you get the GSP or the MC and 30 days premium time for $11. Then you can get cockpit items for 22, and then life bundles, which are cockpit items. The Demon Girl is pretty good, and for $6, like a bunch of cockpit items. So it's a good thing per se, but it's just something for them to make money, which is fine. That's what they do. The Roughneck Powerhouse and Reaver, same thing. You get those 2 mechs plus 30 days premium time for 22, cockpit items, mech bays, and all that kind of stuff. So it's not bad. It's not the worst thing in the world. But
yeah. So we said last time around that we really liked all of the bundles.
Yeah.
This time I'm really glad they are doing special bundles. I don't really like most of them. Personally, I think the best value is probably gonna be in these first ones, just for MC, GSP, and premium time. Like those are the things that you can probably use the most. Cockpit items if you're after that. Colors if you're after that. Again, just pick it up. Personally, the mech bundles I'm not a huge fan of. Mostly because I'm not a huge fan of the mechs in there, and especially looking at like the Roughneck Powerhouse, we already got that one for free. So most people, I would assume, already have it. If you want to pick up a mech bundle, take the Urban Mech bundle.
Sunspider, half of that package is everyone got the was it the Vanguard for free?
Yeah.
And even if you're planning to purchase a Broadside as well was for free.
Yeah, Broadside, yep.
Well, the best one's the K9 and Street Sweeper or Street Cleaner because you have to get the Solaris pack to get the Street Cleaner, correct?
Street Cleaner, has the crossover with the Solaris pack, and I see a lot of people who picked up the game recently. They will get the Solaris pack because a lot of people say, "Oh, hey, this is a really good value bundle."
Yeah.
So they'll hear good things about the K9, but they already have the Street Cleaner. And if you've been around the game for long enough, you've earned MC from events, you will get a K9 easily enough by yourself. At this point,
K9's good.
Yeah, I don't like the 2 Sunspiders just because they're both Omnipod mechs. So whilst it's nice getting all the hero Omnipods, I really don't need both heroes. In ways, I just wish to get one and then just use the Seabill Omnipods.
Yeah, was kind of like when you get just two variants of the same mech, usually you're only really gonna use one of them. So, like out of these bundles, I think the first 2 are the best. Shadowhawk, Locust. Both of these are fine enough mechs, and Timberwolf, Mad Dog, both of these are fine enough, especially since they're Omnipods. I just think the price is probably a bit high for my taste for 2 mechs and a bit of extra.
Well, the Pirate's Bane and the Grey Death, those are 2 hero mechs, so you get the plus 30% CBO boost and XP boost. So that's good.
All of these are hero mechs.
Yeah. I think their Urban K9 and Street Cleaner are the best ones myself. I mean, I like Shadowhawk and Locust, don't get me wrong, but I don't think I play my Locust that much. But I play the K9 and Street Cleaner so much now. They're just fun mechs to play.
I mean, the Urbies, of course, it's the best bundle. That's not enough for discussion. We're talking about
for $11, it's a great deal. I mean, hell, the premium time alone. Let's see how much the premium time is. For 30 days.
All you need to do is play the game for a while, and you get the MC for the K9, which is the premium, the best Urby. The Street Cleaner has some. I like its extra jump jet and engine capacity. It's neat, but it's basically an Urby with a Seabill boost.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other ones that have the same kind of hard point layout. Yeah, I mean, I already have a very large stable of mechs, so it's easy for me to sort of just go, all of these do not interest me. But even then, at least if I was advising a new player, it is kind of tricksy since there's no just sort of, this is an amazing bundle with like the Scorch in it. A really decent mech. There's just a lot of, hey, these are half decent mechs. If you want something half decent, pay $20.
I could probably see recommending the Mad Dog and Timberwolf bundle, mostly because both of these are iconic and they are Omni-mechs, so they're decent enough that I wouldn't feel super bad recommending them.
It's just they're half decent clan mechs at this point, of course. So they're iconic, but
yeah.
Well, also too. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, for me, most of the reason I play Mechwarrior Online is just to walk behind my team and see all of these iconic mechs walk past me. That's why I play the game. I'll be quite honest. It's not for the gameplay. It's just for the arcade moment of, holy crap, this is so freaking cool.
Yeah. I mean,
Those moments are where I play.
if I was suggesting to a new player, I would start with just the top bundles, which is like, hey, if you're playing a bunch this month, get
Yep.
the Love as a Battlefield bundle. You get a month's worth of premium time
Yeah.
and a bunch of extra stuff. It's not the best, but yeah, it's good value. And if you like vanity, if you like having stuff in your cockpit and you want it to be themed for the current times, just get the Celebrate the Single Life bundle, and that gives you a whole bunch of cosmetics to put in your mech for the month you're playing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, hell, 30 days premium time alone is $12. So in essence, if you're playing a lot during that month, like say like this Huntsman month, you'll have 37 days of premium time, 7 days for premium when you get the first one. So, it's a good deal if you get these bundles. Great deal. Plus 2 free mechs.
1250 MC, you just wait for the next sale, and then
Yeah.
you get a half of mech bay and half of your mech of your choice.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, these are great bundles to have.
Yeah, I think the first two are probably the best ones.
First two, I think the Irby is the best one, but I'm just an Irby fan.
Well, Bob, Irby is out of competition.
Okay. Oh, okay. Fine.
I mean, with the one that gives you MC and premium time, if you wait till it's on sale, that 1,250 MC is about almost enough to just get the K9 anyway, and that's the Irby you want.
No, with the street cleaner, I want that too. Fun.
No.
Sure.
All right. Anyway,
Okay.
Moving on. Let's talk about the patch, shall we?
Oh boy. Okay. Sounds good. Do the patch.
Mechwarrior Online patch notes. It's been a long while since we've had this kind of patch notes.
Yeah. Most of the times, like, we fixed this and that's it.
So while people might argue that this isn't the greatest patch ever, and it certainly isn't, that's still a really good side. February 16th, so last week at the time of this podcast, we've got a new patch with the first out of hopefully many improvements for Mechwarrior Online, trying to revitalize the game.
Yep.
Let's go through them, shall we?
Okay.
First things first, bolt-ons are staying on the Mechs.
It's good.
Okay.
I mean,
I've seen a lot of bolt-ons in these past few days, so it's definitely working in that sense that people are bringing them out. There are some issues with it, like especially again, new play experience. If you see bolt-ons and you shoot them and nothing happens, that's frustrating. And I believe PGI is acknowledging that and actively looking for feedback on which bolt-ons should maybe still fall off. But overall, it's fine. It wasn't as bad as I expected it to be.
Like I was totally against having bolt-ons and everything like before, but then after playing with them for a while and they fall off, and it's like, okay, like whatever. Having this when they stay on, it's not that bad because I know what to shoot. I know what to shoot, what not to shoot. Oh, look, that guy has a big ass head on him, so I'm not going to shoot that. I'm going to shoot his chest or something. But it's just one of the things that PGI is doing to actually make money, which is fine because I don't want to spend $650 or $750 for a bolt-on and then have it just drop off when someone shoots me with a small laser or something like that. It makes no sense for me to spend that amount of money to go and have that bolt-on just drop off. Now it stays.
Yep.
So I'm more impacted, like, yes, I got this big bomb on my back or whatever, basically. And it makes it me more wanting to spend money on bolt-ons, which is good.
Yeah, in the end, they put a lot of work into making bolt-ons for every single mech, or at least making all the mechs compatible bolt-ons.
Yeah.
It's hundreds of options in the store for a redonkulous price. And yeah, there was no incentive. So this makes complete sense from their side of things. I do like the huge follow-up he wrote in the text description, just talking about we are going to have a lot more consideration about bolt-ons. So I think some things like people mentioned like chainsaws, big blocky things on the arms that can look like weapons. Those might very well still be candidates for falling off.
Maybe, yeah.
My suggestion, at least, if a bolt-on should fall off, you should like heavily reduce the price, or at the very least indicate in store, by the way, this thing falls off with a big huge icon or something in there, just so that people know what they're getting into.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's
Yeah, in
that's a good point.
the feedback section, people are still talking about other options, like maybe disabling bolt-ons on the enemy side, or giving you an options to disable bolt-ons on the enemy side. It's still something PGI is looking into at this point.
Yeah,
But it's good that they're hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be interested in at least having the options to change rendering of bolt-ons, particularly like at least I think technically you could say in competitive, it might be nice in a private lobby you have the button just to disable bolt-ons or something like that. Just in the sense that you shouldn't be relying on MC purchases to change your profile. I mean, the highest level players shouldn't be really affected much by it, and it should almost be a detriment. But it's not something that you should really allow to game the system like that, in my head at least.
Yeah. On high level play, you're just gonna have these flags peeking out behind the mountain, and people know where you are, even though you don't see them.
Yeah, I'm sure they're
I've
doing
had
it for
that.
that.
I've had that happen to me yesterday. It was an interesting experience. I will make sure to remember this now.
Okay.
All right, yeah, but for the most part, small change. We're seeing more bolt-ons. We'll see how things develop, what options they give for us in the future.
Yep. Next up, reconnection time limit and early leave punishment threshold up to 4 minutes. I actually crashed these past few days a whole lot compared to what I usually do. So, yeah, that's good. Before the patch, I did trigger the penalty more than once. After the patch, I haven't triggered it at all. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unit recruitment costs.
I don't pay attention to that anymore because I don't do I don't do that part anymore.
10% of what it was before.
Yeah, 5 million.
Well, that's
Yeah.
Unit leader. I'm not familiar. I'm used to obviously that somebody makes a unit and then
Do
they
you have
invite
to
other
pay
people.
to make a unit?
No,
No.
I don't remember that at all. Like particularly not spending 50 million C-bills.
Yeah,
for it.
no, I did not pay 50 million C-bills. I remember the 500k to invite someone. Like my unit is a one-man unit, so
Yeah.
this is the only number I know.
Mhm.
I do not remember this number.
I mean, I want to get back in the faction play. I just want it to actually mean something, And I don't know the cost. I mean, 50 million, man. That's harsh to go and have a unit done. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. So yeah, this is something everyone agrees on. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
You can now get units for cheaper since they don't mean anything. People wouldn't spend money on them otherwise.
I'm remembering a little bit. Like I haven't, my unit is a unit of one, but
Yeah,
I
same with
have
me
seen
too.
people make use of the unit functions so that if you're a unit leader, you can join a members group, like a group. Just you just click the button, say I join them, and you will join them. And that also is you have special powers in like private lobby. This helps you put together like private, competitive matches and stuff like that. So you get special administrative bonuses, so to speak, if you're a unit leader.
Okay.
But you don't. At least I've seen people use that kind of stuff. I just don't know how it works. Maybe I think you can appoint multiple people to be leaders. It would make sense to me, but they want to put a high cost on it so that you aren't appointing everybody to be a leader, and everyone gets the power to join everyone in the unit's games.
Maybe someone in the comments can tell us how units macro actually work.
Yes,
we clearly have no idea.
Well, that's my best stab at it from my recall.
Okay, moving on. Increased cadet bonus. Yep, they've done exactly what we've been asking for. Up the money you get for your games, and also add some extra items on top, especially on your first game. As a new account, you're gonna get 7 days of premium time. Really cool. It's the very beginning. And then you just get some random things that are gonna keep you pushing forward. More premium time, some supply caches. Okay, maybe some people care about them.
Yeah.
At least they're good. They're a good way to get decals.
Yeah. Most valuable thing, in a way, at least, you're getting not just 5 million more C-bills, but you're also getting the basic color set. That's like 4 million C-bills or something or more. It's been forever since I bought the basic color set, but they cost millions of C-bills, and they ease into new players because new players have to. They want to, they get a new mech, they want to paint it instead of just being all the basic green. And I tell them, oh, there are some colors available for C-bills. It just costs like 1 or 2 million each.
Yep. So In total, rather than having 12.5 million C-bills, which is roughly enough to buy and fit out a medium to heavy mech, you now get close to 18 million, which should be enough to buy and fit out most, if not all, mechs.
Mm-hmm.
And you're also getting 100 GSP, so you can immediately scale it up and don't have to spend extra money on that. You're also getting the colors to customize it, and you're getting an extra mech bay on top.
Yeah,
so
they
you
did a good
start with
job on
5
this.
rather than
Yeah.
4. In general, it's a good improvement. I would be totally fine with them putting even more stuff in there, but for now, it's a great change.
Yeah.
Yep, much easier to recommend people getting in the game rather than just, oh, by the way, you get a trickle of money for playing the game to start with, and that's enough to get one mech. That's all you're getting, mate.
Like, so far, when I would talk to someone who wants to start a game, my advice would be pick out one of these bundles, buy the bundle, and then use your credit bonus that you get from the first few games to kit out those mechs you buy from the bundle.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think I could, in good conscience, tell someone that, yeah, you can start without spending money in this game at all.
Yeah, it's not bad. You did a good job on that. Good job.
Next up, this makes me sad, even though I understand it. Time of day is now locked for all of the maps, or at least for 6 maps.
Yeah.
And
Yep, for 6 of them, not all.
You know, like the one thing I wish
Yeah.
though they did, I'm gonna try to contact whoever's in charge of that, is in the when you go in your own solo like lobby, because I like to take pictures for like thumbnails. I want to have it so I could do it night or day, or set the time, because it's such a pain in the ass to find a map that's either night or day that you want to have a certain type of look for, basically. And I think
So
Yeah.
solo
should be able to do
private
that. Yeah.
private lobbies, if you have one of a friend, you can set the time of day.
Yeah, you gotta have a
But
friend.
like testing grounds is
Yeah, testing grounds would be good. Yeah.
I think they're going to be what are they? I think they're fixed time now.
Yeah, they're
They
fixed
should be
times.
fixed time. It's
Yeah.
one map configuration. So in long term, I would very much like to see the ability to vote on a time,
Mhm.
rather than just get one time per map, because they're basically removing some really cool sites from the game.
Mhm.
In general, it's fine though. The game doesn't play much different, and most of these maps are still pretty.
So just
Viridian Fog no longer has the fog. I think that's the biggest change.
yes. Going through just the maps one at a time, like a forest colony, when it's nighttime, it's so dark you're kind of stumbling around, and I don't particularly like it when it's nighttime. I'm usually happy when it's day, and that's the time to push. So personally, like regular forest colony, if it's always just daytime, for me that's an improvement.
Mm-hmm. How about
Frozen City,
yeah.
it's always kind of visible in Frozen City, so the time of day didn't really affect things much. So the dynamicism is actually is somewhat of I kind of miss it.
That looks pretty though. That looks really nice. The Frozen City, like right there, that looks beautiful.
Yeah,
looks really good.
River City, again, at nighttime, you could sometimes get stuck with stumbling around in the dark and like the sun in your eyes and a lot of other issues. So the dynamic time of day was like one of the worst offenders, particularly since people fought by the Citadel and like, you have a long line of sight to the ocean and just the sun has a lot of time to blare in your eyes. So this being fixed time of day is great. And I don't particularly want to see nighttime on River City as an option.
Coral Highlands.
Okay. I would say nighttime on River City for me is one of those few instances where night vision actually makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those few maps I've ever toggled it on. Most maps I just leave on standard even if it's dark. So I'm gonna miss night, but I can see why people would hate it.
River
What
City.
I don't like with nighttime River City is like just your actual visible range is only like 400, 500 meters. So if you don't have like ECM on you, it means a red triangle appears above you and the enemy just shoot randomly at the red triangle and get a whole bunch of damage. And if they're under ECM, you have no way of telling, which is interesting, but it also just feels awful when there's a long range firefight taking place and you have no idea what's going on and no way to see what to shoot at.
The one thing I like
Makes
about River
sense.
City at night though is if you have it on high graphics, when you shoot something, it just looks has that flash. I think it looks really cool, like at nighttime when you're actually firing, just the different things that are going on.
That is very much true. I remember Bob recorded something where he wanted a Jrnyman flag action.
Yeah,
that
I
was
still have
really
that,
cool
by the
on
way.
River City
I still have all
nighttime.
that footage. I just haven't had a yeah, it's been like 2 years, so yeah. But I still got the footage. I still got the footage. It looks cool though. Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah. If night vision helped me, like it didn't have the graininess that it couldn't, if it could see much further, I would be happy. Just so that if there's someone at 700 meters, I could see them through with night vision on. Because
Yeah.
I'm over stuck. I'm just stuck between all the different vision modes, and I'm just like, I can't see anything. And if they see my triangle, they're just gonna spam it, and it feels awful.
Okay.
Polar,
Polar Highlands.
just like Frozen City, I think it doesn't really matter the time of day.
Yeah.
No. They were
Yeah,
locked on
I
like
didn't
anyways.
even notice any difference. Yeah, Viridian Bog now has good visibility all the time.
hmm
I kind of like the low visibility setting, so personally, I'm sad, but again,
Low
I understand.
visibility was interesting
Yeah.
on Pog. I'll give you that. Like, particularly like it's foggy at night.
And
that
raining.
was a really interesting combination. And raining, those are a really
Yes.
interesting combination. That mech visibility just went down to like 270 meters or
Yeah.
something.
It was
Just flying
bad.
in the dark.
It's one of those instances where I'm the kind of guy who really likes these weird edge cases, but with most games, like democracy exists for a reason, and you should pick whatever most people are most comfortable with. So
Yeah.
I totally see why they changed this to daytime.
Yeah, I like the push towards consistency. It's just if we want to push towards alternate modes and time, options to vote for. It's what ones would be worth pushing for? Would there be enough interest? And I'm not sure there would be enough interest in fog nighttime rainy bog.
Probably not, but then again, there's not enough interest to get terra firma most of the time.
Yeah.
So you can't just vote for it every time you see it, and eventually you have the 20x multiplier, and you just win.
They screw you guys.
Yeah.
I'm getting this now.
I'm just saying
And
for
that would-
PGI to bother putting it in the game code and spend the development time just to even make it an option. That's the tricky hurdle you have to get over at this point now.
Crimson Straight.
Crimson Straight still looks very pretty.
Yeah.
I think that's a good choice. You still have the lights, so at least they're not wasting that effort.
Mm-hmm.
It looks nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's not bad.
I think I'm happy with just this always being sort of Crimson Straight rather than it having a more nighttimey version because the snipers on the hills in the distance would get really annoying and more
Yeah, out on
daytime.
the
I don't really
island.
need more daytime on it, so yeah.
Yeah, I like this choice a lot. All right.
So
Map
Yep.
changes. Next
The
up,
majority
there
of maps with time of day have no more time of day,
Yep.
except a few.
Except a few.
exceptions.
Yeah.
everything gets reset in Solaris. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And whatever these badges are.
Competitive series, titles and badges now exist. Minor bug fix for the light gauss rifle. And that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Game,
So
for the most
overall-
part, plays the same. The biggest change is
Mhm.
just somewhat of consistency on the maps, and that's just a slight quality of life improvement. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yep. It
Okay.
hasn't brought many player back yet, but hey, it's the first. It's the first of many.
Yeah. It's okay. It's good. Although I still like the variance of it happening, but that's just me. Because you get to vote for it, I guess. But okay. Okay.
We do have a classic Frozen City day and night, and
Yeah.
classic was it Forest Colony day and night as voting options.
Okay, well that works out. You could run inside the tunnel, do that kind of thing in classic.
Yeah. And there's still time of day taking place in maps like Caustic Valley, of course.
Okay, that's fine then.
It was funny actually. I dropped recently, and we rolled for the mid of night time, and some of the new pilots. I was like, "Whoa, Caustic Valley looks really different for some reason." I was just like, "Yes."
I for the next part, which is the Striker package or the Striker booster pack, I found this out last night while I'm streaming, and someone goes, "Hey, check this out." I'm like, "Wow, this is actually pretty good. I actually like this." They did a great job on this, the booster packs for the 2 new mechs. These are new mechs, correct? Because I haven't researched as far as the.
These are new variants, basically.
Oh, okay, new variants.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Variants.
Although
2 different
it's
variants.
been an age-long argument: is the Grand Dragon a new mech, or is it just a different dragon? I would say it's just a variant.
Yeah.
Some people who have a certain association with a certain dragon icon are gonna hardly disagree, or disagree a lot. It's a new variant.
But for the amount of money
Don't
you're
make a
spending,
big
I mean,
deal.
for 4 mechs for $20, is not bad. Two of the mechs are actually like hero mechs, and I mean and then also you get the Striker Booster Pack items, 8 million C-bills, 200 GSP, 10 cop kit items, badges. We don't need those sticking badges, but you get decals and titles and all that kind of stuff. And then with the early adapter bonuses, I mean, you get bolt-ons for free. You get another 200 GSP, and also a hanging item, which is 5% C-bill boost for your mechs themselves. So, I mean, the amount of money you're spending on this is much better than the packs they used to have back then for $20. Although I would like to see like maybe 15 days premium time or something like that. But still, I mean, it's good by itself. It's really good by itself, though.
I don't know if I agree. Like 4 Mechs and stuff is cool. I think, as with most pack, if you get it during the early adopter phase, it's probably a good value.
Yeah.
As soon as the early adopter phase ends, I personally wouldn't pick it up anymore.
I don't know, $20 is a good deal for these mechs.
Okay. To assess the value, a big thing here, Bob, right? You're talking about is there's the 4 mechs you're getting. Now, obviously, they're doubled up. It's really actually just 2 mechs. Because if you're buying this, you're really only going to play the C-bill boosted variant, and the other one is a bunch of extra C-bills and a free mech bay, so to speak, for the most part.
Exactly.
You're right about the 2 mechs about being a plus 30% for the hero mechs. I would just play those guys too. Yeah, true.
Yeah. The other thing is that of course, these are just alternative variants. So alternative variants in the past we have gotten just for free. Like, well, sort of semi-free. Like, if you pre-ordered Mechwarrior 5, they gave you a bunch of alternative variants.
Yeah.
You get special variants, hero variants, in fact, just as bonus rewards at the end of the year. Like the Corsair we mentioned earlier and stuff. So there's the question, like, particularly just to if I'm working as a counter argument, it's like the Grand Dragon here. It's a dragon with 4 energy, which we have already on like 2 other dragons, and 2 missile, which, I mean, there's no dragon with 4 energy and 2 missile together, but the 2 missiles stuck in the CT, that's not really a feature. So
particularly since it only has like four slots or 3 slots for the
total of 4 energy, 1 in each side torso and 1 in each arm.
No, I meant the missile though, like in the center torso. I forgot if it's
two missiles in the CT.
Yeah, but like how many slots does it have? So you can't put like
just two. Just two.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can only do like 2 SRM4s, 2 SRM2s, 2 LRM5s, an LRM10, an MRM10, a NARC launcher, 2 Rocket 10s.
Yeah,
you have
that's what I was getting
slightly
to.
better build options, but it's just most dragons. You don't take dragons for the CT missiles.
No.
They're an afterthought. So it's mostly just a 4 energy mech, and we already have 4 energy dragons. So half of the package, 2 of the mechs are just dragons. It has the same max engine cap, 360, no jump jets, no mask, no nothing. So yeah, just bog standard dragon. Now,
but one is a C-bill boost that you get.
Yeah, it will at least have a C-bill boost. It's just, I think there's a hero dragon available. I mean, the energy is mostly on the left-hand side of it, but it's still got 4 energy and a ballistic. Which
and you have to keep in mind there are multiple hero dragons. It's not just the one.
Yeah. The Fang and something else. I forgot what the
side
other one is.
also ballistic with like a few energy and
Fire and Fang, something like
Fire
that.
Fang.
Yeah. To give my general impression of a dragon, I go after light tanks before I target dragons. That's how little I think of them. So yeah, I'm not picking up the dragon ever.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the dragon side is very underwhelming. I think a lot of people are just asking for it because it's it's an obvious choice, and it's sort of been I think a lot of people have fondness for it. One thing I think at least the lore people know this a lot better than I, but like the Grand Dragon, at least reading up about it, it is supposed to have a reworked torso, like chassis a little bit, so it can torso twist further. I would be very happy to see a dragon that can torso twist way further than the regular ones, because the regular ones can only turn 90 degrees to the side. This one should turn, way further than that, like 120 degrees. Like it's almost like an Irby.
For the Grand Dragon?
Yeah, and that would at least give it a selling point. Yep. It's not much of a selling point, but it's at least something.
Yeah. As it stands, I don't think this dragon has anything to offer.
Yeah.
No, it's a follow-up of the Dragon Battle Mech. I think it was designed to kill the Wolfhound, I think. I'm not sure.
It's just an upgraded dragon. Like obviously, they had a whole bunch of new tech, and so they just wanted to apply it to their favorite dragon
Yeah,
created.
I mean,
Yeah.
anything is an upgrade to a dragon. So yeah, slapping a PPC on is an upgrade. I'm gonna anger so many Kurita fans.
This thing isn't even double heat sinks, because I know at least the later Grand Dragons have double heat sinks, so the ERPPC, the energy loadout is less ammo dependent, and at least from a lore perspective, that is an upgrade rather than taking ballistic weapons, so to speak, and single heat sinks.
I think the Grand Dragon is older than the new tech. It's definitely older than the new
it was done in
IS tech.
3050, so it was built in 3050 by Luthien.
Yeah, like the
Armor
early
Works.
days of Clan Invasion.
Yeah. But it should have the double heatsink. So I mean, for like a newer mech design in 3050, I mean, like the Kurita should have put double heatsinks like in this at least.
Did
later on they
utilize
do.
Clan Tech in 3050 already?
No, well, not Clan Tech. This is from the Helm Core. So basically, like they already had them at 3040.
Right.
He's just saying they should have put double
Yep.
heat sinks in a sphere double heat sinks
double.
by this point in the timeline. But we're choosing the earliest Grand Dragon variant, which is just a slightly different dragon.
It's a prototype. The 1G is basically a prototype.
Mhm.
At least that's how it's portrayed in the novels.
But just at that time, they should have put something better than like, here's a stupid future reactor. Here we go.
All right, so I've ragged on poor Bob enough
I know.
my counterpoints. Let's talk to the interesting mech, the Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
All right, a Thunderbolt with ECM and mask and jump jets. All the tech options.
And double heat sinks.
And Endo.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really expensive if you buy it outside the pack. And a targeting computer, which you're probably going to ditch immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact it starts with Endo and double just means, you save a bunch of C-bills kitting it up. Whereas the Dragon, not only is it not interesting, you have to spend 1.5 million to upgrade the heat sinks and another, however much for the internal structure.
Well, that's what
you're paying
$8 million
for it with the purchase price.
Yeah, with the purchase price, 8 million like C-bills. So yeah. Okay, fine. The Dragon's not cool. I like the other mech. Okay, fine. Okay, you little bastards. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Right. So let's talk about the features of the Thunderbolt. At least to give my appraisal, it's very hardpoint starved. It's just 5 energy and 1 missile. The majority of the weapons are in the left torso, and the usual rotation MWO is counterclockwise. That means your left torso is exposed to the enemy. If you put the missile in there, it becomes a huge target. So what about the arm? Well, the arm's low and wide, so most Thunderbolts try and avoid it. So you have not many hardpoints, and the hardpoints you do are in some of the worst spots in the Thunderbolt. So those certainly balance out the fact that you have more tech options than all the others. Other things just to mention is that, well, I think ECM is the one that fits the best with the Thunderbolt playstyle. Just you're a fire support mech mostly. Being able to do that under the cover of ECM is nice. Energy loadout doesn't really make sense with stealth, though you're welcome to try. And spend all those slots. Mask is, I like mask mechs, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't. The Thunderbolt's a giant fridge. It's an easy to hit target. The agility of the Thunderbolt isn't that amazing to start with. So the mask isn't really going to make you an agility god, or it's not. You're not going to juke shots. All you can do is really just move unexpectedly for a Thunderbolt. But you're still a big target. And by the way, the Thunderbolt in general, at least, you're going to have to play into the 5 energy. That is like. 1 missile is not enough to build it. You could put an MRM-40, but you need medium lasers to back it up. So in the end, you're always going to have a kind of energy-oriented loadout on this mech. And we run into the usual issues that the Thunderbolt has, which is its lower arm actuators and hand actuators. Inner sphere tech is very big. The Thunderbolt is a giant fridge that loses its side torsos quite easily sometimes. So you don't want XL all the time. If you're a good pilot, you can twist, certainly. It's just the Thunderbolt has issues with finding the slots for double heat sinks for its energy loadouts, and it has the issues with its hard points often being stuck in the left torso, which falls off first. And this just doubles down on that, where you're like, all right, the Thunderbolt that lacks lacks slots. Well, why don't you take a Mask Mark III that takes up 3 tons and 3 slots, and double and ECM? So you're missing 5 slots now and 4.5 tons down. All your stuff stuck in the left torso or in the arm. So I just don't see this as a particularly. I mean, it's interesting tech options. It's
Mhm.
just, is this going to really, make the Thunderbolt shine? Other than ECM, no. Like, the jump jets are nice, sure. Jump jets on Thunderbolt can sort of work. Don't get me wrong. Actually, I have seen some good jump jet Thunderbolt pilots, but you know what? The funny thing is, other than ECM, there's a mech already in the game that does this, and that's the Mask Cataphract. You have 4 energy, sorry, what's it? 4 or 5 energy and 1 ballistic. That's a way better hardpoint layout, and it's much better spread out, and it's got armor quirks up the wazoo, and your mask does about the same thing. So, hey, if you want the early access Thunderbolt 10 SE, just get the Cataphract.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that for the simple reasons. Like, I run a Thunderbolt with 3 large pulse lasers and 2 medium pulse lasers. Now with this type of build, and I do pretty good with that mech, and this has jump jets and ECM, and if I want to put mask in, which I probably won't though, but it has more bonuses that I could use for that mech that I normally use like anyways, that this would actually, and plus it's a SIBO boost mech. I could, basically make more money and then also have it, and go have the extra like ECM for it. And I do
So
pretty well with that mech.
before Bida tells you why this is a terrible idea, I just want to say that's also the first thought I had, triple large pulse laser, because I do want a
Yeah.
dragon. The only dragon, I mean, okay, there are 2 dragons I enjoy, the triple UAC2 and the triple large pulse laser in the high left shoulder. And like, first glance, this Thunderbolt was like, that's the dragon I want, just a bit better. And so, if anything, I could imagine picking myself up one of these to run triple large pulse, depending on whether triple large pulse is even still a valid build. So I'm going to kick it over to Bida.
I hardly ever see large pulse
I
after the nerf because
I
of its
use it.
damage.
I use it and it works out fine. But of course, every type of build is different for different type of people, though. So
It's
Yeah.
just the thing with large pulse is it's kind of in competition with ER mediums. Both have the same kind of range, and whilst large pulse has better duration and a bit heat efficiency, you're paying 7 tons rather than 2 tons to do about the same amount of damage. So large pulse, usually you're sort of saying, well, why am I taking large pulse when I should just be taking like either regular larges or ER mediums? Just if I'm wanting that range game with laser boating, there's just so much more tonnage efficient options out there.
because it looks cool, man.
I did run back in the day. I loved my triple large pulse Zeus, which had all the large pulses in the arm, so it had a very good side peak, and you could pinpoint down people components quite well.
Yeah.
And that's like back in the day, what was it, like 12 pinpoint damage per large pulse? So it's 36 onto a CT over and over again. But they've nerfed the quirks, of course, and they've nerfed the last pulse, so
Yeah.
it's just not worth taking anymore.
I
Like,
have
I
fun with
switched
it.
it to medium lasers and MRM 40.
I have fun with it and I enjoy it, and I do pretty well with this mech. Basically, whenever I use this type of mech, and 3 triple large pulse lasers and 2 medium pulse lasers. Granted, the medium pulse lasers I think are on the right arm, and then left arm and left shoulder has the triple, or could
That
be
would
like
work on
reversed on it.
this Thunderbolt as well.
Yeah.
That would how you run it probably.
And adding the ECM will make it even better, so I won't actually have to worry, really worry about lerms or anything else. Plus, I can help out my teammates. So this is a bonus for me to go play that type of mech. But of course, every type of mech is different for different people. Obviously, I can't play assaults. I suck at assaults, but some people play them really well. So basically, it's all different for different type of people. Granted, I would knock out the mask and take out the targeting computer and just have extra stuff, and just go from there, like, pretty much. And that's what I would do with this mech.
Yeah. One funny gimmick to mention, at least since we are bringing up large pulse, is large pulse is one of the stealthier weapons in the game, so to say. So I did try and throw together a stealth large pulse build. It's just you kind of run out of slots, and you really need the cooling for triple large pulse. But I want to do something other than the Raven that has stealth with a large pulse laser that harasses the enemy. Just my basic appraisal is that the dragon is just an avid dragon. In fact, there are better variants for the most part somewhat out there already.
Yeah.
And I hope it will get better agility stats to somewhat reflect the Grand Dragon has a better chassis it's actually
Mhm.
built on, that there are improvements to its frame. And that would be interesting. An agility-oriented dragon. It just doesn't have the hard points to really do anything with it, but that's dragon problems. The Thunderbolt, it's really interesting. The combination of tech, you could put so many weird things on it, but you just keep running out of slots, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, but I need slots for double heat sinks, and then you just have to keep compromising and compromising until you have a Thunderbolt without mask, without jump jets, with ECM, and you're just like, oh, but the hard points aren't that good. And why am I in a Thunderbolt? Let me get into something that is actually kind of more competitive nowadays.
I'm kind of getting flashbacks to the last time we had new mechs. Like the past few packs were all just, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting option, but we already have something that's basically the same. So it's all gonna come down to stats and quirks.
Yeah,
And
the quirks is what I want
this
to
is
see
kind
on
of a
this.
continuation.
Yeah.
The
I
same thing.
definitely.
It's all gonna come down to quirks and stats. And
On the
even then,
subject of quirks, did you guys have a read through the FAQ where they do mention how these mechs will be balanced?
No, I haven't actually. I'll check that
I
out
actually
now.
have not.
So search for what guarantees can be made about the balance of these mechs, or just search for nerf or buff, and that should get you to it. And quirk, those are keywords, won't be mentioned elsewhere, I don't think.
Oh, payment information, collective incentives, faction contact for the pack, which would be interesting.
It's above collection incentives, just above it. So near the bottom.
Okay. Where the hardpoint details, guarantees can be made about the balance. Try to provide as fair as experience for all players, clans in your sphere. This may mean nerfing or buffing some weapons, adding quirks to the mechs at a later date. So what? They don't have any quirks when it first comes out?
That was my initial first impression, and I was like, holy hell, you're going to release this dragon without quirks?
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think that's it. I think just the answer's really cagey. I just think it's really weird how they answer the question, where it's just sort of like, oh, we don't want to unbalance Innisphere versus Clan. And it's like, just looking at these things on paper, don't worry, mate. There's no problem.
Yeah, I know.
The Dragon and Thunderbolt are not going to take over the game. But and he's talking about buffing or nerfing some weapons, like all Innisphere or Clan weapons, in response to this. It's the wrong response to the question.
I kind of wonder if this is just copy paste from an early FAQ. I'll be honest, I haven't looked at the Mech FAQ probably since the first few packs.
I never remember this phrasing, honestly.
Yeah. Well, all the recent packs they used to have, I mean, they gave them like almost no quirks whatsoever. But the older mechs that they,
I never really remember questions about how will you balance these. I feel like they wanted to add this question because people would have questions about how they would be balanced, but they gave this very the answers suited for when you're talking about game balance, overall game balance. All right, okay.
We might not. We don't know, basically.
Yeah, it's just copy pasted from a time when they were still nerfing and buffing weapons.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad, but okay.
Yeah, it makes sense. There's a whole bunch of important legal stuff just regarding purchases, and you don't want to mess with that stuff if it works first time. Anyway, so obviously, I think the obvious guess is that the Dragon's going to come out with Dragon Survival, the Thunderbolt's going to come out with Thunderbolt Survival at the very least, and who knows what else they'll put on top. That would be my guess.
I think we talked about this before. Biter was the early adapter bonuses expires May 18th, but the mech comes out April 20th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that very interesting. Very different way of doing it compared to the past. So yeah, in 2 months' time the pack comes out, but the early adopter bonuses last 1 month beyond that.
Yeah, that's kind of
very
weird.
Interesting.
They might have got that backwards, or they want to have it so people see what the mech is like, and then you could get the early adopter bonus and go purchase it after people say it's good or not.
From a consumer standpoint, I very much like this because you always if you wanted to get everything from the pack and you were interested in the mech, you had to just pre-order blind, and
hope
you
for the
didn't know
best.
what quirks they were. Yeah, have to hope for the best and hope they give it good quirks and agility. Now you can wait for the mech to come out, for all the hype to die down, to see what quirks they actually have. So, for example, if you have the impression that the mech will come out with no quirks whatsoever, and you're like, why am I taking a dragon with no quirks? Then wait until it releases, find out if they really did release it in that state, and then you can make your purchase.
Yeah. It's a good idea on on a money standpoint, and that's fine. Or if they messed up and comes out the 18th and early adapters in April. I don't know.
I mean, I like this in the sense that this is if you are one of the people who bought it in the first 3 months that after it had been announced, you are one of the people who adopted it early. You know.
Yeah.
I think normally they announced packs like way more in advance, so there was a lot larger window. But as it is, this is a much more consumer friendly thing. So
Yeah.
you just hold off until the pack comes out. And if you're still interested, purchase it, and you get a whole bunch of extra goodies. And by
Yeah,
the way, we should
yeah.
actually talk about the goodies.
Goodies. Which ones?
All right. Shall we just start with the bolt-ons?
Sure, I was about to bring up the pictures. But
It looks like reactive armor for the bolt-ons. For it,
It
I'm not
does.
sure.
These are, I think I saw some people comment and say, these are some of the best looking bolt-ons they've seen. I wish the bolt-ons
Mm-hmm.
were always sort of like this, rather than kind of tacky universal things that just slapped onto every single mech.
Yeah.
We got the dragon here up on the screen, which is it's got a little kind of crown or helmet thing. Little extra spikes on the claw to make it extra clawy and spiky. And
Doesn't do anything, but
like
yeah.
a shoulder pauldron, like a samurai
shield
style one.
Yeah. And then the back has some type of guts or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, little
what that
winglet
is.
thingies.
Yeah, fins or something.
Yeah, and the thing is, and of course, these bolt-ons won't fall off when shot anymore,
Mm-hmm.
unless maybe the winglet thingies change the outline of the mech a bit too much.
I don't think so. Probably the helmet would though. It would change the outline like on it. That's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
the shoulder pad also does that a bit as
I
well.
would
That's
say
the question
shoulder,
of where you
probably.
that's the question of where you draw the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's also the Thunderbolt ones. Can we bring that one up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Thunderbolt looks like a reactive armor actually, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish they had more reactive armor throughout the whole Thunderbolt like itself.
I
which
wonder
kinda
if
neat.
they're inspired by, we had them on a past podcast. The guy who did, they did the CG pilot
Oh yeah,
episode.
CQ Fish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they had like reactive armor on the Sphere Mechs. This is sort of also military camo paint
Mhm.
scheme and all that. But yeah, I like the this is of course concept art. Who knows how it'll actually look in the thing? But yeah, just a little bit more details, make them look more professional.
Mhm.
I like the idea.
Yeah, it's not bad. Looks good. As far as bolt-on wise, basically. And if you get the early adapter bonuses, which is about a month
It's a lot
after it comes
better
out.
than damn badge for early adopter bonuses.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Badges, I don't even care about, to tell you the truth. It doesn't mean anything. Cockpit items, are those new? Those are new,
So
right?
all of this is like
Yeah.
concept art right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I don't recognize any of these cockpit items.
No.
So
The turret thing looks similar to a turret I already have,
Could be, yeah.
but I think it's a new one.
So the turret, I'm guessing, is obviously the standing item, and then those two little smoke launcher things, flare launchers, whatever you want to, is the warhorn.
Warhorn, yeah. Yeah,
So does your cockpit just fill of smoke and you can't see after you get a kill? It's just like extra punishment for being the guy who bought the dragon package.
Well, the problem with with the cockpit items, I have so many cockpit items, but they're spread along 300 mechs that I have no clue what in the hell is on each one, right? And so, like, if I go, I want the laughing pumpkin guy, but I gotta search through 300 mechs to go find it, and they should have something take off from this mech, like automatically and give to this mech or something like that, because it is a pain in the ass to go through all those mechs to try to find it.
Like in the current state, you just put them somewhere and then you forget about
it. Yeah, I forget about all the different items, and that's
It's kind of like the engine thing. If you remember back in the beginning, once engines really became a thing, where you bought a single XL 255, and you just took this engine or whatever make you wanted to play right now, and then switch it around every time.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a feeling Bolons is same thing. Like in the first few weeks, months, whatever, you were switching those around, trying to take them with you, but at this point, you just put them in, and either you have them or you don't have them.
Well, like generally, I have a list of mechs that I normally play like all the time, so like those get all my like items. But I mean, to find cockpit items, it'll be more consumer friendly if I could find those items in different other mechs instead of searching every single mech going through the the list. So I mean, I would like that as a UI like experience. It was making much more easier for me. But
Like,
that's just
it's a thing. It's a thing to increase the value of cockpit items,
Yeah.
but I don't think it would increase it enough that I would bother buying them.
Well, it wouldn't be hard to put that in, basically some type of search system or something, basically, or take it out. But I don't know about
You
programming.
need to change the UI. Remember that.
Okay.
The Mech
Well, like I said,
UI, it's not great in CryEngine.
Well, like I said, I don't know how it works, but it'd be nice if they had that. I would be happy.
When they ask for more feedback on quality of life fixes, be sure to suggest it. And
Yeah.
we see what it goes. There's the last cockpit item is restricted to the early adopter bonuses, the hanging item, which you'll get 2 of, and this one is actually almost in a ways in my head the most valuable one, just because it's a 5% C-bill boost.
Yeah, I mean that's nice.
These are really rare.
Those are pretty rare and pretty hard to get. Normally, you would have to buy a really big and expensive pack to get these C-bill or XP boosting items. And C-bills are way more valuable than XP for the most part. So yeah, the only thing is, as Bob mentions, is it's just going to be an utter pain taking these hanging items in and out all the time for just 5% extra C-bills.
Yeah.
So
in the time you find it, you could have just played in a couple more matches. And
yeah, you have to build a habit of always stripping it out of your mech when you switch off it. That's always sort of a habit I built, like with engines and stuff, when I was more poor in the back in the day. Obviously, for me now, I'm sitting on like 600 million C-bills. I 5% extra earnings. I don't need to worry.
Yeah.
But for a new player, in some ways, it's like, oh hey, this is a way to get C-bill boosted mechs and a C-bill booster for eternity, as long as I bother with the micro.
Yeah.
And live with this thing hanging on my cockpit.
But at this point, 5% just doesn't add enough when you have 50% from premium time and 30% from special and hero mechs.
One question I have is, I don't remember how much C-bill boost you get from the other items
10%.
and what locations they were.
It was one for each, like the standing and the hanging, I think.
All right, so 5 each. It's always 5.
Really? I thought it was 10 for one and 10 for the other one. But I mean, it's been a long time. I can't find them in my mechs, so I don't know. See?
I could go to the store, try and find out.
Yeah, it was in the war pack, whatever that one is. Like when they changed over to a 3057 or something, right? It was one of those packs.
Those. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't find my cockpit item, so I can't tell you, Daren. DGI. Yeah. I don't know which one that was in though. I thought it was that one. For the packages for the general war pack. That's
so Civil War. Civil War pack,
like
if you get the let's see, hanging item 5% XP, another hanging item 5% C-bill boost.
Yeah, okay.
And then standing, so 5% for each.
Yeah.
And that's standing and hanging item.
No, there's for standing. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Like hanging, yeah. So in essence, if you have a Civil War pack, really it's a matter about getting, being happy about that other pack, because you can't put 2 of them on for the hanging ones.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah.
Yeah, it is a way to at least get one of these very hard to get items for a relatively cheap price. Or and it's at least right now it's a more interesting package before they come out, and we remember that they're Thunderbolts and Dragons.
Thunderbolts, yay!
Yeah. One thing I want to mention
I love it.
One thing to mention that isn't shown so well here is that there is an extra bolt-on that everyone will be getting, not even if you're getting this late, which is themed bolt-on flag with the badge on it.
Okay.
So that camouflage flag, that camouflage little badge thing, that's actually going to be put on a flag, and you could put it on the back of your mech, and it will probably stay on.
Oh, here's a suggestion for a flag: Magistry of Canopus, please. Instead of actually have to use Lao flags, basically based off 3057 when they had the triad. So yeah, MOC flags.
So, I really like this flag tie-in idea. I wish they marketed it a lot better, of course, because I don't think this camouflage badge is really interesting. But if in the future you do a new variant that is like a hero mech, it's an actual icon from lore. The lore freakazoids would love to have a flag of whatever faction on the back of their mech.
Yeah, that would
I
be
think there
great,
might be
actually.
licensing issues with that, probably. But anyway, yeah, that's the idea. That if you make the badges enticing, it gives extra reason to,
Maybe
make
a
sure you
flag
get
for
the
each
flag.
type of mercenary unit. Basically, I haven't seen those yet, too. Or the Periphery Realms, a flag for those, because I know there's a lot of people like to play pirates or like to play like the Outworlds, Outworlds Alliance. They like to play that as well. So a flag for
Since they
each.
have the flag models built, it shouldn't
Yeah.
be too hard to just change the icons on them and such. So, and
Just add them
with
in.
bolt-on sticking on and just making more prominent marketing of flagging, that might be worth it.
Yeah, I would definitely like that. I'd buy more of them.
All right.
To tell you the truth. Okay,
So
sorry. Go ahead.
I've poured enough gasoline on the Striker booster pack, but do you guys want to wrap up on your thoughts on the pack?
After talking to you about the Grand Dragon, yeah, okay, Drag Dragon sucks. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I'm still a fan of the Thunderbolt one because it's gonna improve my Thunderbolt that I normally use anyways. So I'm happy about that. And for $20, it's not that bad to get these types of mechs. I could sell the other two variants. I have no problem with that. I could sell the like the S's. I could dump those and just use my Thunderbolts and get 2 extra mech bays and the money and everything else from it. So that's actually a good deal for me. For $20, it's not bad.
For me, TLDR, even though I'm a whale, I'm not going to be picking these up. A, they're only variants of mechs where I already have variants that I do enjoy. B, it's a dragon. It's a dragon. And the Thunderbolt, while interesting, doesn't add enough new for me to go back from what I currently play to a Thunderbolt.
Okay. Well, yeah.
So, yeah, it's cool that there's new stuff. I cannot see how they are going to generate a lot of revenue with this particular pack.
I think just the fact there's finally a new pack out, it's got me somewhat excited. And I will say this page is it's very slick. I like the artwork on the majority of these things. Yeah, so I think I've done it. It's well marketed pack. The Thunderbolt is at least still interesting. So yeah, I'm like they've done a good job with from a gameplay perspective, very underwhelming pack.
Yeah, plus also the hanging C boost like item. I'm probably not gonna it'll get lost, so I'm not too worried about that. But the extra 8 million because I'm space poor, like for my alt account, and so I need that. And the 300 and the 400 GSP, if I get the bonus, which would be it would help out like in my alt account, so it'll be fine. Yeah, I wouldn't mind spending $20 on it, but that's just me.
Question is, would you spend $20 on this, or would you just spend $20 on one of the current bundles? Which
I would
also
spend $20 on tacos. That's how it is. So like basically getting this would be fine. So if I don't have tacos for one day, I'll be fine. I'll just spend $20 on this, so it's not a big deal.
Wow, you have a different view on money than I do.
well, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Let's move on.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, let's move on.
It's getting too real.
Yeah,
it's getting too real. Let's we're getting really close to the 90-minute mark, so let's just rush through the last few important things.
Okay.
We've talked about bolt-ons already, so just mentioning there is a forum thread if you have feedback on bolt-ons things. If you know of ones that should fall off still, go ahead and give feedback in this forum thread.
Okay.
Map spawn points. is one of the biggest things people were talking about. The first contender is going to be Tourmaline Desert, which is probably the biggest offender. So you can give feedback on where you would like to see spawn points on Tourmaline Desert, and you can give feedback on which map you would like to see reworked next.
Yeah,
and
good.
that's basically all there is to hear. Bida, I'm certain you have many minutes of discussion regarding this. Is there anything you want to get out of your system?
But yeah, weapons balance pass 1. They're asking for more broad feedback from the community. So throw your thoughts randomly in there, and we'll see what things they pick up on in the next patch. I think that'll be quite interesting. I've done my own post there, which is lost amongst the sea. It's somewhere like in page 6 or so.
And I'll leave it down below too. Like I'll leave the link down below, guys, too. You can check it out.
Yeah. I'm glad they are taking this approach, just in the sense that that there are some communities out there, like some people mentioned the Gulag and whatnot, who have pulled together and made their own suggestions on how the game should be fixed. But with the Gulag, at least my impression was, of course, they made a whole host of changes, like talking about mech balance, weapon balance, um, rescaling, etc., all together as one giant super package, and that's great and all. But I think for PGI's purposes, they're only doing weapon changes, and also I don't want the Gulags changes so much because they are needlessly nerfing IS streaks for some reason.
No. IS streaks are fun.
The cooldown is going down. The missile help is going up, which is nice for them. But that's the one. And they always share images, but I really want to see their DPS calculations for UACs, because I feel like the UAC changes for Clan Ultras could be an insane change, because Clan Ultras are already pretty strong and they're giving them a lot of buffs. But anyway, there's so much stuff to weapon balance, and I have my own personal preferences. Everyone has their own personal preferences, and I'm just glad they're opening it up to community, and that's a good idea.
So definitely go ahead and take this opportunity, give feedback to PGI, even if you have only 1 or 2 things. Like personally, I'm hoping that PGI doesn't just do something like this and really reworks all of it, listening to a specific group. I do hope that they take it in tiny baby steps, and we're gonna see what happens from this.
Okay.
If PGI are smart, of course, they don't change all the weapons at once like that. What you do is you say, okay, we think X weapon system is really struggling right now, so we're going to focus on it. That's kind of how they did it in the past as well. And that way, you just do only changes to like clan small lasers, try and help clan brawl, with their small pulses and whatnot. You see what happens, see whether it, totally unbalances the game. After a month, you change it back and change something else. And I think that's a sensible approach for Daren and Matt. That fits their pace and their approach. So yeah, we'll see what they like in the forum. So.
Yeah.
All right. Like these past few months, we've had close to nothing to talk about. So we've spent whole episodes talking about a single death relog. Now we're just gonna mention, hey, there's a death relog. I don't think there was anything too interesting in here, except that they are finally giving us a written summary. This is a really big thing. Obviously, if you're listening to the First Circuit, you don't mind listening to hour-long talks about basically nothing.
At least if you're at this point, after all.
Can you actually go and enlarge it though?
But for most people, this is like this is the thing that you read, and this is the thing you just ignore.
It depends on how much time and you want to. The level of information you want. Some people like putting a face to the changes, and hear them actually discussing them, and I do like that. So I think both together is a nice compliment for if you just want the facts, or if you want to see them talk about their thought process.
I do agree. And if you want to see them talk even more, I believe there are 2 really long NGNG videos, one with Matt, one with Daren, that you can listen to. Although the one with Daren is while he streams Mechwarrior online, and it's pretty difficult to actually listen to. But there's stuff you can listen to if you're really bored.
Just have it in the background while you're cleaning house or something.
I mean, I like that in just the slight sense that Daren often hops onto NGNG streams, and we just don't hear his thoughts on events and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And it means you miss out if you're not happening to listen to a certain stream, which of course isn't the right approach, really.
Maybe like official streams or something like that be a lot better than just on your stream. Yeah. Yeah, true.
I think, well, to try and speak in Darren's defense, I think obviously he's good friends with Sean
Yeah,
Lang,
yeah,
and he's just taking a break from work, probably campaigning for more features for the game, and he's just like, "Hey, Sean, how's things hanging?" And Sean brings up, "Oh, I want this change or whatnot," and Darren responds.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just them chatting, but this was
Yeah.
just a chance for them. At least we all got to see it rather than just those who happened to be on or in the NGNG crew.
yeah.
Or
So
Okay.
circle.
basically, this is the official thing, and this is the unofficial discussion with just two private people talking about the game they love.
I liked NGNG's chat with Matt, of course, just since at least it was just a one-on-one with Matt. We get to see more of his perspective on things,
Mm.
because Matt is a little bit quiet, at least when there's a large group of people. A lot more loud, talkative people around usually means he just fades into the background. But that's not to say he has no no ideas or anything. He's just so yeah. It was a great chance to hear more from Matt.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. What's next?
And then last but not least, we have two just really quick mentions. Just to remind you that if you don't like Mechwarrior Online, there's a better game out there that's still very much alive called Mechwarrior Living Legends. Yeah, so just mentioning the game is still going on. It's still a solid enough player base if you want to play on weekdays, evenings, or on weekends for the most part, and there are still active patches being done. So
Yeah.
if you like Mechwarrior, please check out the game. It could really use more player, and it's a really good game.
Power armor, tanks, VTOLs, aerospace, mechs. It has pretty much almost everything for BattleTech. So
Artillery,
artillery, yeah.
in, almost destroys my mech, and he just sees the cripple waddling home.
I actually like doing the power armor. It's pretty cool. I like doing that one. But yeah, it's a fun game to go play, guys. Check it out. Living Legends. They're having patches all the time, like updates and everything. So check it out. I'll leave links down below.
Yeah, they've had like a new patch, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then lastly, a community shout out. Aces Wild are, I believe, behind a community run Mechwarrior online tournament, Innisphere only, which has started a few days ago, is still going on if you want to check it out and watch the games.
IS Tech only, baby. Lots of brawling.
Yay.
And, well, party strikes because, well, of course.
Yeah.
Bob, it's your shout out, so do you want to add anything?
Oh, just a good group of people, like Aces, very, very fun. And also, it's kind of cool they do this kind of stuff. They spend their time to go ahead and make tournaments and have fun with the game itself. And, when they could just do something else. But they do this, and that's awesome. That's a really good thing. So, good. Awesome. Check out the Aces. I'll leave links down below as much as I can. And if you have any links from Aces, let me know as well, too. I'll go put them in.
Yeah,
I see. Yeah. So, yeah, good. Cool deal. Good group of people.
And yep, that about wraps up episode 138. We've been rushing through the last few topics a bit.
Yeah.
Please excuse us. We've been rambling a lot about the first few items on our list. If you guys have any input on what we should improve next time we talk about this much stuff, or if you think we've skipped over anything that's important and we should dive in deeper in the next few episodes, please leave us feedback. I think all of us would be interested going into some depth regarding the weapon balance. So future potential episodes.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Bob, take us out.
That was episode 138 of the First Circuit Podcast with our host, Ian.
Bye-bye.
Bob. Bye-bye. And and Fighter.
And bye-bye.
And bye-bye. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for being part of the podcast, and we'll see you on the battlefield.